Whenever we talk of space science, we have words like ISRO and NASA that come to our mind. But recently, space has opened for private players. And the pioneer in this sector, as far as the private industry is concerned, is Mr. Subba Rao Pavuluri. He is the chairman of Anant Technologies, and today we have the privilege of having him here and interviewing him. Welcome to ETV Bharat, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Pavuluri is a technologist and an entrepreneur with extensive experience in Indian space program for over 4 decades. However, he is not someone who started as an entrepreneur. He started as a space scientist. So, sir, if I may ask, like from a accomplished space scientist in ISRO to space science as an entrepreneur, how did this shift happen?
I think I should go back to the history, about 30 years old, back. See, we launched our first satellite called IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellite, that is meant for Earth observations. We launched the satellite in 91, later part of 91, using our own PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Later we conducted an experiment by distributing the data of the IRS satellite, Indian Remote Sensing Satellite, to various departments in the Government of India. And we found that data being used very effectively for development initiatives. So in this regard, we conducted one seminar called IRS Utilization Program, a seminar. And in the end of the seminar, the recommendations was that we should use the satellite data for commercial purposes. So from that I took the clue and I started thinking in the direction of being entrepreneur in this area.
So, Anant Technologies, it is closely associated with many of ISRO's launch vehicles and satellites. What does this shift mean for India's domestic space exploration? When private players come in and we have government, we have ISRO who are working on projects. When private players come in, what does this shift mean? Does it remain limited to only exploratory space science, or does it have other aspects as well?
Then I have to explain to you something about space reforms. Space sector also went through reforms after Modi ji became the Prime Minister of the country, and that was about a few years ago. That has been announced by the Government of India, which means in this ISRO, which was playing a dominant role in Indian space program, they will continue to play a role in research and development and planetary missions. And whereas private companies can take the initiatives in various development initiatives of the country, which means wherever there is a repetitive satellites to be launched, they will be launched by the private companies on that. That can be Earth observation systems, or it can be related to communications area. Like this, very many areas, there are a lot of opportunities come up for the private sector in this regard.
From your perspective, what more is needed as far as regulation or like privatization or liberalization has happened? What more steps do you think should be taken in order to make this sector more robust and to take India forward on its journey to become a developed nation?
So, Viksit Bharat is something which all of us aim to become by 2047. In order to do that part, a lot of development activities have to happen in the country. Though our GDP is now at 7.4 to 8%, there is a kind of range, the development is happening on that. But every sector needs the satellite data input for accelerated development on that. For example, you take the urban area, urban planning related. Anything is to be planned, we need satellite data for effective planning of the urban areas. Similarly, agriculture. When you say agriculture is a soil science, the soil related information we need, then water related information, then we need about agronomy also onto that. That means in all the sectors, the space plays a dominant role into that. So this helps the developmental part to go much faster in a more geometric way of progressions that can happen onto that.
Where would you place India's private space sector as far as the global players are concerned? What more do we have to do in order to catch up?
See, I don't think that a comparison is the right one to do. we work toward the national development in the country, not necessarily that we should compare ourselves with a developed country with some other initiatives which the government of other governments provide to them on that. If for us also to progress very fast, it is necessary that the government of India also should look at this sector as a priority sector, because inputs coming from the satellite data or satellite communication helps growth in the country in many ways on that, much faster growth. So therefore, we request the government of India to provide this kind of recognition as under the private preferential treatment is to be given to this. So therefore, in like this, very many sectors that the satellite can be made use of on that. So therefore, it is necessary for government of India to recognize this as a priority sector, and funding also made available on a priority basis on this.
Right. It is an exciting sector, and you being a pioneer of it, what would be your advice or suggestion to those who are planning to come into this sector, new entrepreneurs, or even the younger generation that want to enter space, private space technology? What would be your suggestion and your advice to them, sir?
See, we deal with in the satellite manufacturing or launch vehicle manufacturing or its utilization. We always deal with the fundamental science and technology related activities. So therefore, if any engineering student, it can be mechanical engineering, electrical, electronics, communication engineering, or chemical engineering, any one of them can have many opportunities. Similarly, the basic sciences related, that is mathematics or physics or chemistry, any other department, humanities, including humanities, there is a huge opportunities in this sector into the space sector. Space sector encompasses every other sector in the country onto this.
We also hear a lot about, like in the recent past, we hear a lot about SpaceX and Elon Musk's plans. Do you think this aggressive commercialization of space, the way it is happening there, do you think it is a viable, prospect? And should a company in India, follow this plan, or the way we are going is better? What is the way forward, sir?
Yeah, the SpaceX is an American company. Now, any space activity encompasses entire globe. So therefore, let's examine the SpaceX, the kind of support that their government gives to the SpaceX earlier. And SpaceX, for example, their goal is to launch the satellites at minimum cost, and also develop launch vehicles which are reusable. That means using it again and again, it will bring down the cost on that. There is a lot of support coming from the entire ecosystem, American ecosystem, also American government in that. In India, we expect a similar support from the government also into this year, because this country needs many satellites and more economical satellites also onto that, so that development of the entire country can happen much faster pace. So that we have a true Vikasit Bharat by 2047 in the country.
Great, sir. Thanks a lot for speaking to ETV Bharat, sir. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. Namaste.